welcome back to another episode of the How Long to Beat podcast, a podcast made by members of the community for members of the community. My name is Matt, and I'm with my friends Leah.
Hello.
And Roy.
It is once again me, Frozen Roy.
Diallo, unfortunately, not with us today due to unforeseen circumstances, but we will make do as a trio over here. We talk about the games that we play, how long it takes, sometimes. And we will be talking especially about replays later on as our chosen discussion topic for the episode. And then end it all with another round of our game, Guess the Game, where the aim of the game is to guess the game. As usual, let us move on straight up into the beaten category, where we talk about what we have beaten since the last episode. And it looks like only 2 people here have beaten anything. I would like to offer the first word to Roy.
Sure, because it's been a while since I had a lot to say in the Bean segment. Granted, don't know how much I have to say this time, but I have actual games. The first one of all things is McDonald's Sonic Speedway, which is one of those LCD McDonald's toys that you get with, a meal from like the 90s or 2000s. I don't remember when this came out.
Early 2000s. I had that physically, that thing.
Yes. In fact, I'm pretty sure literally the only reason I did this is because you mentioned it. And
yeah,
I
maybe.
Googled it. And on itch.io, somebody has faithfully recreated it. And why not?
Love it.
I don't know what to add except, like, if you've played an LCD racing game from, like, a McDonald's meal, you've played this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad for what it is, which is to say a toy to amuse your kid for, like, the length of a meal. It's not going to do anything else.
Yeah, I remember replaying that a lot as a kid. I had that around all the time. It's good shit.
Well, you know what? Maybe sometimes if you're the right Matt, you'll get more replayability out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally all you do is you're driving and you control left and right and you try not to hit cars. And if you don't hit cars 3 laps, you win.
Yeah. And it beeps a lot.
It does beep a lot, that's true. Then the other game, funny enough, is also a racing game, albeit one people might have a bit more interest in, which is to say, I got gold trophy in all the cups, including the DLC cups of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Story behind this one is it's been raining here for about a week or so, maybe a bit longer, maybe a bit less actually. And sometimes you just have a day where you want to just listen to the rain, maybe kick open the window, and just sit back and not do anything, like taxiing, and just chill and relax and reset your mind.
Yeah.
So one day I did that. I was like, you know what? I've played some Mario Kart 8, but I've never really played Mario Kart 8 a lot. How about I just go through all the cups? And I did most of them and then did the other, like, 3 I have beaten, like, 1 or 2 days later kind of thing. It's pretty fun. Obviously the base is Mario Kart. If you've played Mario Kart, you know Mario Kart. But, the track design is very good in this game. They do a lot of more complicated, twisty-turny kind of stuff compared to a lot of them. Somewhat helped by the anti-gravity in water, but just in general kind of going off a good amount. The controls may be a bit slippery, I would say. I've always been a big fan of Mario Kart Double Dash, and Mario Kart Double Dash has really, really tight turning. It's like the opposite of this kind of thing, so I'm probably more a fan of Double Dash's control feel, but once you get used to Mario Kart 8, you can still, you can make some pretty strong turns, mess around some. I didn't really have a lot of difficulty with this. I only had to retry 1 or 2 cups a little bit. Never just got my ass kicked like sometimes some Mario Karts can do. Super Mario Kart, for example.
Yeah.
Went online, played some games. That was pretty fun. It's Mario Kart 8 out of 10.
Oh my god. So what's your favorite track? I'm kind of curious.
Oh geez, my favorite track. Well, there's 96 of them, so I might even not remember the name correctly.
Jesus Christ.
God.
The one music track was pretty fun that I don't remember the name of, but it's got the music notes jumping around. There's some more double jazz tracks on here. I'm not as big a fan of what they did to
Mhm.
Daisy Cruiser, but
Or did they
there's like an
change it?
ice track. Well, in the original, the water is a hazard because you can't go in the water. This one, obviously, it's
Oh,
not, for
yeah.
example, and
Yeah.
that kind of changes the track design. A little bit of modifications on the shortcut, stuff like that. Um, Nintendo 6.
The
Oh,
whole
sorry, go on.
the whole hybrid car thing, I feel like when Mario Kart started that, it kind of lost me, and I feel like that's a really like old man thing to say of me. Like I get it's a way for them to innovate stuff and get some fresh ideas into their racing tracks, but I'm like, fuck that fancy nonsense. Get rid of the gimmicks. I want the simple past or whatever. I really feel like an old man with this.
I wouldn't even say it's that big of a gimmick in the game in a way. It's kind of like fluff to an extent. It does affect how your car handles, though. Funny enough, I think
Yeah.
they did get rid of it in Mario Kart World, if I recall correctly.
Really? Oh, that surprises me. Huh.
As I recall, they have the new like trick system where you do tricks and like can wall jump and stuff, but I think they got rid of driving underwater. I'd have to check.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Huh.
So there you go, I guess. Also, Nintendo
Thank God.
64 Rainbow Road. That was a very good one. Classic track
Oh,
too.
yeah, classic as
Um,
Yeah.
fuck.
I've always liked Excite Bike Arena in this game. I didn't really play it because it was a cup I had already beaten, but
Mhm.
that's one I've always liked. It's like really simple, but it makes good use of the trick system, stuff like that. Big Blue is very good. Maybe not surprising.
Ooh, I actually should look up. I know that F-Zero has been in Mario Kart, but I never actually looked how they interpreted those. I should actually kind of look into
Yeah,
that
you should.
sometime.
I liked how they did Big Blue. I forget the other one that's in there, but I believe there is another one.
Probably Mute City or something.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, Mute City.
Yeah. Yeah. The two most iconic locations, yeah.
Like
Mhm.
what they do with the F-Zero tracks is like in Mario Kart 8 you collect coins and that makes your car go faster kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The F-Zero tracks don't have coins, but the like recharge portions that are the F-Zero boost give you coins as you drive over them kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a fun little interpretation kind of thing. It was fun. I'll probably play it again at some point because obviously multiplayer party game kind of thing. But yeah,
Sure.
I think I've said really all about I have to say. Oh, and my main uh car was Toadette, basic bike, off-wheel roads, glider. So
Basic bike.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I was using the ATV at first, but the handling was a bit stiff for the looseness of the like controls. So I went with the bike because it has a better handling radius, turning radius.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta optimize your Mario Kart, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 The last game I beat, people might remember this from probably about 2 months ago on the podcast, but I was replaying my favorite game, Summon Night Swordcraft Story, with one of my friends, and kind of there was a long period of time due to various schedule lineups and all that. Couldn't really actually play it. Got together this week, just went through the second half of the game, beat it. Uh, 2 days ago, I believe it was. 2 days ago. It's my favorite game. I like a lot of it. Was interesting playing it with a friend, talking about it because we were talking on Discord the whole time, stuff like that. You know, One nice thing about this game, despite being an RPG, it's got a pretty modest time. I beat it in about 13 hours, 30 minutes or so. Uh, there's always been some side quests I have to really like pay attention to throughout the game to get the weapon techniques. I've usually failed to do that when I was younger, so this time around I made sure to do those, just get some stuff I hadn't done before,
Hell yeah.
stuff like that. Um, I mean, I've talked about this game multiple times, so I kind of don't want to drone on and on too much about it, but I still enjoyed it. Obviously, when you're replaying a game for like the 10th time in your life and it's been your favorite game for like a decade, it's not going to be the same as when you first played it, but still really enjoyed it kind of thing. Still extremely my type of aesthetic. All that good jazz.
Well, it's your favorite for a
Dope.
reason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Well, that you definitely got the most done since the last episode. Obviously, Leah doesn't have a beaten, and I only got one title that I can throw in here this episode. I have played a little indie title called It Takes a War, which just released a couple weeks ago. This is made by a developer I've known previously, called Thomas McKinnon. Not personally known, but I'm familiar with their work.
Oh.
Because this
Okay.
guy this guy made a game a couple years ago called The Corridor, which was one of those fourth wall breaking meta narrative kind of experimental games, very story focused and all about the exploring the conversation between player and game developer, like that sort of deal, and I love that stuff.
Mm.
It's been in a lot of itch.io bundles, I think so. People that cashed in on some of those might actually own this already, but it's also on Steam, etc. The Corridor I highly recommend. It's dope as hell. And it takes a was the new creation from this guy, which has a setting that I love. It takes place in Counter-Strike 1.6, basically. Like it's
All right.
off brands, but it is obviously styled after that classic shooter game. And you basically join that game, join a fictional server, and the entire story. It's again a very story focused one. The entire story plays out through the voice chat of the other players, which of course are NPCs, and you hear their voice lines, and the story unfolds, and some strange things happen. A couple fourth wall breaking tricks here and there, as you would expect from this developer. I love this setting. I always love games taking place inside of a video game consciously and playing with those limitations and breaking them. It's pretty cool, and seeing that The Corridor is a game that I found very, very, very creative. I was very excited to see what he would do with this setting. Though I have to say, maybe I was a bit too hyped because of all of those elements. Because this is a clever game, it has a couple neat tricks, but I did not get into it as much as The Corridor. I was not as engaged in it, which, thinking about it, probably also just stems from the fact that you are in The Corridor very much an active element of the story, as the game is literally like talking to you, etc. And here it's more like you are a fly on the wall as the story happens around you with these NPC characters. Um, so you don't have much agency or anything. You more or less experience the interactive movie or whatever you want to call it, which is still interesting, is still neat. It's a cool setting that is done with obviously a lot of like attention to detail to make it authentic towards the look and the vibe of that actual real old game, that Counter-Strike 1.6. But yeah, it didn't stick with me as much as The Corridor. It didn't like impress me as much. I still recommend it because it is interesting and the developer is dope as heck. Looking forward to what he does in the future, but if I had to rank these, The Corridor is above this one. And yeah, this is my only completion for this episode. So we are moving on to Retired and Paused, which is perfectly gonna put the spotlight on Leah. So here you go.
Yeah.
The last remaining host to talk about games.
That's a triangle strategy right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I retired was not Wordle, but the Wordle clones that I've been playing, because it got to be a point where the sites just weren't working, and like I would press play and it wouldn't work. So I refresh the page, try again, and then it became like a ritual where it was like refresh the page, wait till it's like 90% done, press the button, refresh again, and then the button is gonna work. And I was like, I'm not doing this every single day just to play this one 6-minute game, a 60-second game. So I gave up on those. What the Beatles one was working for a little bit longer, and then I just gave up on that one as well.
The beat for a second I thought you were actually playing one where you had to like identify bugs, because I forgot the last time you were talking about the band, the Beatles one. Okay.
Yeah.
I was very
Matt's
excited for a
dreaming of
second.
better days.
Yeah. How unfortunate.
I'm sure there has to be some bug related one where it's like pixelated and you have to
probably.
like
Surely,
zoom in
right?
True, could
until like
be.
you can figure it out. If not, then we should
Buggle.
make that. Yeah.
Buckle. Oh god.
The bug of the day. Yeah, so I just gave up on those because I wasn't too pressed. Like I've lost my streak, and like I was just like, I'm not gonna sit here like trying to manipulate the site just to play the game. If it's not working, I don't care. And the other one is Yum Yum Cookstar, which I only started this to see since we were talking last time about cooking games and Cooking Mama. And this is related to Cooking Mama. So I was like, oh, you know what? I own that. I said I was going to play it. Let's play it and see if it's, anything close to Cooking Mama. But I played maybe 3 rounds or so. And it's set up weirdly like Cooking Mama is just kind of you're just cooking in the kitchen with your mama or somebody's mama. I don't know. She's the cooking mama.
Mhm.
But this one is like I guess it's supposed to be like a cooking show, but my only connection to these types of reality shows is Drag Race, so I found that to be very strange. I was like, why are there judges in this room with us? But there's like 3 judges and they're like judging you on like your cooking with rainbow-haired Yum Yum. I don't know what her name is actually. But like it's weirdly like rhythm gamey. Like Cooking Mama, at least it was like fold
Oh.
this, like spin this around. This is like in order like you're trying to like blend something in a blender, and it's like, okay, here comes the arrow, press the arrow like and make like a perfect, swipe this way, and then it'll spin for a while. And then it's like, now swipe this way, and then it spins the exact same way, even though the arrow's in a different direction. And like they make you practice everything before you actually do it to make the food or whatever, and that just got annoying after a while. Like I was like, I don't know that I failed a bunch of times in the practicing too, which I was just like, I don't think it should be this complicated in a cooking game where I fail at the practice, not even the actual lesson yet.
Hmm.
But it was weirdly like I couldn't figure out like what they wanted me to do in some of the rhythm games. And like so I would fail a few times and be like, okay, now I understand what we're doing. Now we can play it for real and do the thing. But there's no real strategy to it where like if you don't do it perfectly, then you fail. So just make it like on or off instead of it being like there's a scale to it. Like you would get points at the end, but I was like, if I didn't do it correctly, I failed. So where are these like random points coming from? But yeah. But then it's also set up in a way like it's made for kids. And like I'll play various games that are like family friendly or like for kids too, but this really felt like they were talking to me like if I was 5 years old. And I
Oh
was just like, I
boy.
don't know who this is for because the rhythm games are way too complex, I think, for anybody who is being talked to in the manner that they're talking to. So I was just like, this game is really hard for an audience that's going to not be able to like handle that. Um and also it was just like really like Matt might probably enjoy it because it's like very pink and purple and like
Yeah.
uh very
I'm
like
seeing
girly looking, but
screenshots, yeah.
I was like, this is so pink. I was like waiting for Barbie to come out. So I was like, I don't know. Up until we started recording this, I had this in playing still because I was like, I'm gonna come back to it. I'm gonna come back to it. But just looking at it on the document, I was like, I don't ever want to play that again. So I think I'm officially retiring it because I was like, no, I'm gonna give it some other try. Well, maybe like next week or something. But like realistically, I'm never gonna boot that up again because I was not having fun. The loading screens were too long. So, like, I'm still looking for another cooking game for me to play because apparently this is not the successor to Cooking Mama that I was hoping it would be. That's why it's in this section.
Yeah, that is a colorful bomb. Even the description is talking about rainbow waffles and unicorn smoothies. My God.
Yeah. I did
Sounds delicious.
the first thing that you do is rainbow waffles, and in my mind it was just like put food drops and you swirl it in the mix and like they come out like all
Mhm.
swirly or whatever. But they put the batter they make the batter like different colors and then they do it in like concentric circles on the waffle iron. I was like, oh, I
Oh,
guess that's
yeah.
one way of doing it, but I was like, I've never thought of doing it like that, and that was like the one thing that I was like, oh, that's a nice technique they use there. I learned something from this game.
I'm expecting you to recreate it in real life soon. I wanna see those results.
I might actually. we have we
Yeah.
have we have a Tetris waffle iron that we bought and it's just been sitting
Yo,
there.
A Tetris waffle iron. Is this
Yeah.
actually like in the shape of Tetriminos, or does it just have
It's just like the
name?
little blocks or whatever.
That
But
fucking rules, dog.
Matt just found his next purchase.
I need to find that. Yeah. I'm gonna eat only waffle Tetriminos for the rest of my life. Holy crap.
It'd be great if it had like you could change out what type of block it is, or it's random.
well, the whole reason we were
It's
excited to buy it is but you can like build it also, and like
Oh
you can
shit,
just
you
like
can.
yeah.
Oh my god.
What the hell? This is actually sick.
Yeah, I bought it and it's just been in the cabinet, and I was like, I should definitely make that soon. So now that I have the idea of rainbow colored stuff, I'm like, I'm gonna make every block a different color.
Oh.
It's gonna be actually
Yeah.
Tetris waffle. So yeah,
But you can only eat it once you have them lined up as
just
clear.
one block at a time.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. That's fantastic. I know what I'm gonna put on my Christmas wish list. God damn. All right, yeah. That moves us on immediately into the playing section. We are flying through this, though we will surely be taking some time for this one. We have. I'm looking at our
Yeah.
notes here, and we do have a lot of games to mention here. Who wants to start? Actually,
I can start. Partially because while mine is big, it's not actually going to be as long as it looks.
all right. Yeah. Then set the bar. Go ahead.
All right. Wordle Tabletop Simulator, same stuff as every week. While the podcast was going on, I got Wordle in 3.
Nice.
Epic.
There was a few days ago one that I guess got a lot of people. I didn't really have much difficulty with it, and then I got 6 the next day. So you never know what can get you, though.
Yeah.
Next was New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This is on the playing segment, but it is in the sense that I was talking to someone and boredly surfing through my games and played exactly the first level and then stopped.
Probably enough, honestly.
So I have nothing meaningful to say about this game. But I did play it.
Dope.
Wonderful.
Yeah, true.
And guess what? After I stopped playing it, I went to Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, and also I went to Yoshi's Island. I actually forgot to put that on here, I realized. And played one level each of them, and then left.
So Yoshi's Island rules hard, and I hope you continue that one.
Well, I've beaten the SNES version.
That's good. Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 is a crazy title. That is a nightmare, and I hate it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
It's very Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
At least
awful.
Kingdom Hearts won't be as long.
Man.
It'll be insane, but it won't be like. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think this one is bad, since I played the SNES version, I was playing the Super Mario Advance version of Yoshi's Island, which is Super Mario Advance 3, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
So it's rough out there.
It truly is.
Then I played Bowser's Fury for probably an hour or so. It was just kind of like, man, I've never gotten to Bowser's Fury after being 3D World. I should get to it. I basically just got to the first segment where you punch out Bowser, with the cat bell and stuff. Did like 1 or 2 more shines, and then just went on to go do other stuff in the day. Because of that, I don't have much to say about this one either. It does have that 3D Mario energy, but you definitely can feel the jank of stapling this idea to the Super Mario 3D World engine. It's very much like, I'm not sure how to put this. So like Super Mario 3D World is a 3D game, but the level design in that game is clearly designed for like a 2D obstacle course in 3D, basically. It's not meant to be like a big open explorable area per se.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Bowser's Fury is a big open explorable area, but still using a lot of the movement mechanics of 3D World. So even some of the stuff like camera control or kind of how tight your turning is and stuff doesn't feel entirely calibrated to like the big 3D exploration space. Like the movement tech doesn't feel on the level of like Super Mario Sunshine or 64 or whatever kind of thing. But it was still fun, the hour I played. I'm going to go back to it at some point.
Yeah, aren't people like in love with that
people really like this, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who wanted this to be the next Mario game energy, which if it was built from the ground up, I could see it. Because it
Mhm.
doesn't have to have the stapling of the Super Mario 3D Fury whatever nonsense to it. But I mean, what it seems like is the Mario Odyssey team instead went with DK Bonanza, so I think they made the right
Right.
call there. The two games I really actually have been playing a lot compared to all the other ones. I'll start with the one I'm replaying. Ooh, topical is Fire, Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones, which I've beaten multiple times. Technically, I'm continuing a run I started like probably a year ago, and just did like the very first few maps that take like no time or whatever. But at this point, I'm around the mid game probably. Um, I'm doing a hard mode Iron Man run because I've beaten Sacred Stones multiple times, but I've been on hard mode even, but I've never done like an Iron Man run with it, so I've been doing that. Not that that's affected too much so far, but still. I mean, I love the GBA Fire Emblem games. They have a really nice energy to them. They're very comfort food. I might even save a little bit of my discussion here for the replay segment,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
this is a kind of game I do wish that we got to see a bit of again. I love the modern Fire Emblems too, admittedly, but I'd love like retro games in the GBA version. The sprite work very good. I'm not even gonna say it's necessarily simple, but like it's more direct about having a lot of restrictions on what you do and working within them, compared to being open with how you build stuff and the game trying to put challenges to get around. That's how I'd put it. So it's a very different energy to play both of them. Like compared to like Three Houses, which is my favorite Fire Emblem game. But I've only lost one unit, Rip Gilliam. I'm like chapter 10 or 11, gonna keep going. But the big one that I'm about 5.5, 6 hours into is Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which I have a
Yeah.
bit of an interesting story on getting. So I was talking with people in a voice call while prepping for like Dungeons and Dragons probably 2 weeks ago. And I'd remembered a while back that, my local library does game rentals, like a lot of local
Right.
libraries do nowadays.
Yeah.
Now, when I had first checked like a year or two ago, there was a few games, but not as many. But I was checking again because I was interested. And they've really, really expanded the amount of games that they're offering at the library now. It's very much like I end up getting a list of like 100 games just on Switch that I'm interested in, kind
Hell
of
yeah.
thing.
Wow. What the hell?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Like it's a huge list.
That's
Triangle
cool.
Strategy was one of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but
Yeah.
because of that, I'm like, you know what? It's been a while. I used to go to the library all the time. I'm gonna just grab my library card. I'm gonna just walk to my library because it's not that far. I don't even need to drive because the weather's
Love
pretty
that.
nice.
Yeah.
And I just walked there and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna check out a game. So I got Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Kirby on the Forgotten Lands like on the list for when they become available because they were two of them that were obviously not available. But I'm like, you know what? The Vengeance version of Shin Megami Tensei 5, I don't have it. I've got multiple friends who've played it and really liked it and preferred that version. I'm just gonna rent it and kick it in there. You rent them for a week at a time, and if nobody wants them, you just renew it.
Yeah, I
So
was about to ask how long you're able to keep them. A week, huh?
for
Okay.
for my local
So,
library, it's a week. If nobody else is in line or they have enough copies, it just automatically renews, and you can
ah,
rent
Oh,
4 games at a time. So yeah, it's pretty nice,
better than
honestly.
Blockbuster back in the day.
Right? And you don't have to pay for it either.
Yeah.
yeah, fuck yes. Dude, yeah, go to a local library, everybody. It rules.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does. I remember checking out books, and I'm definitely going to check out some books sometime there. And it's just good. It's good for you.
Heck
But
yeah.
for the game itself,
Yeah.
this is like a 45-ish hour RPG. I'm about 5 hours in, so stuff's kicking up. I'm not like super deep into it. But this is really fun so far. I really like the main character's design. Uh, you know, so far the combat feels very classic Shin Megami Tensei. Big focus on hitting weaknesses and avoiding your owns and stuff like crits. efficiently taking out your opponents because they hit hard if you take too long and if you're too slow. You're gonna get chipped down. Difficulty's decently high, but I haven't gotten close to a game over yet. End of the world, kind of making your way through the post-apocalypse kind of energy, because that's what
Of course.
70-80% of Shin Megami Tensei games are that,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So far it kind of feels like it's just playing like a greatest hip compilation of like the story beats of other Shin Megami Tensei games is how I'd put it. So it doesn't have too much of a strong, unique story identity, but the setup's solid enough. You have like this companion mechanical dude who fuses with you to help with your powers and stuff, and he actually talks and stuff, so you have a bit of a companion, that kind of thing. The dialogue in this game is like funnier than I expected. There's a lot of comedy so far, which was not what I had on my bingo card, but it's been well executed, so I'll take it. The merchant is like this little skeleton goblin guy who reminds me of like the small dude from Dark Souls 3 on the throne.
A skeleton goblin guy. That is a strong mix.
And he's named Gustav, which makes the second RPG I've played this year with a dude called Gustav in it, which I feel like cannot be common.
That is wild.
But I've had a lot of fun with this one. I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can before I return it. But of course, since the cloud is on the save, or the save is on the cloud, even after I return, I just wait for it to become available again, and then I can do more if I have to. You're definitely gonna see me having more games on this list than I'm renting from my library, because that's just a gold mine of stuff, and I'm excited to do it. Been enjoying this one a lot. We'll keep everybody updated in the future. And I believe that is everything for my playing list.
That is indeed correct. I guess I might continue. So yeah, I got a bunch going on as well right now. I think I'm gonna start with the stuff that's not completely new, stuff that I've already mentioned in previous episode. Starting with, I guess, Shady Lewd card, which I've in the last episode I think talked about first, which is an indie card racing game that is focusing on characters, on franchises where characters from not safe for work, like Lewd kind of game franchises, that sort of stuff. That's focusing on that theme. I've kept grinding out some unlockables because it's just
grinding, huh?
yeah, as kart racing games go, it's like one of those go-to casual games for like simple, wholesome playtime. You don't have to put much thought into it. There's enough repetition, but also variety to just sit there, I don't know, listen to a podcast or whatever, and just do a bunch of races. And this game has a mechanic where while doing the races, you can collect a bunch of items on the track that you have to find to impress the pit girls, as you do.
As one does.
Which, among other things, also unlocks harder versions of the racetracks and the like. So that's what I was focusing on, just grinding out the cups, the championships, to unlock those harder versions of the tracks, at least the ones that are available in the current version. I didn't even realize this last time. This is still technically an early access version. But there's already so much content that it seemed complete, but apparently the developer is still adding stuff constantly. So I don't even know when this is gonna finish, but it's already like a complete experience in my eyes. I've unlocked those harder difficulty versions of the championships that have those to unlock, which was good, chill, fun. And I'm probably gonna keep doing that with other championships. I haven't even spent much time with those other mini game and special race types, some of which I've mentioned last time. I was wholly focusing on the regular championships so far, but it's still just a chill, well-made indie kart racing game with a funny, unique theme. So that's probably gonna being in my playing tab for a little bit at least. Another game that I'm still on is Magic the Gathering Arena. That is probably gonna be eternally on there until I actually genuinely get sick of Magic. But right now, it's literally in my weekly uh, schedule at this point. Paper Magic. I'm at the local game store every Thursday at this point, and sometimes even Friday as an additional one. And so the digital version for Arena is also just gonna stick here as a quick casual game here and there.
Truly, it is the Wordle of Matt games.
Sure. It's exactly that. It's just like what? um, I'm not spending like hours at a time anymore. Partially also because a lot of my focus has gone into the paper version with actual real people. uh, but I'm still every now and then I'm booting it up for a game or two. And recently in real life, we had the release of the new card set based on Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I did attend a real life pre-release event, which was fun as heck. I have never seen the show and don't care about the lore and the characters or whatever, but it's making for really, really fun mechanics in Magic the Gathering. It works really well. And I'm actually even looking forward to building a deck based on those, specifically on the earth banding mechanic. Building a deck with that in Arena and then also like grinding that shit out digitally, not just in paper. So that's currently going on. And I do actually have to get more time into Arena because on the shop there's some monthly like unlockables that you can buy with your in-game currency. Um, and there's also always like a companion of the month, like a little pet character or whatever that you can have lurking around on the playing field while you're having a match. And the companion of the month for November is Mabel, which is a little sword wielding mouse from the Bloomburrow set, and I need her to support me while I'm doing my stupid little card matches. So I'm trying to get the in-game currency for that right now. I need to put some more time into this before the month ends. Um, that's my Magic the Gathering adventure right now. The third game that I'm still playing from last time, although this is again like a debatable one. I mentioned last time I bought a Rubik's Cube, a physical Rubik's Cube, the 80s
Oh
puzzle
yeah.
cube. I mean, this is my third one of those. What makes this one special is that it has a Bluetooth connection to connect with my phone, and there's an app that connects to that, which tracks all your moves for stats for global like competitions and leaderboards and whatever. Who cares? The reason why I got this on the list here is because there's also mini games in here, a couple which have different concepts, all of which are controlled through this physical cube, where different moves do different stuff in those games, and I spent more times with those. The last time I was already mentioning a Guitar Hero kind of a rhythm game where you hit the notes by doing specific spins on the cube. That has 10 levels or so, and I finished that campaign, if you want to call it that. It's a neat idea, although I have to say the music is all clearly like copyright-free stock music that you would find like in the YouTube music library or whatever. Like it's very, very basic stuff. And I think the mapping of the notes is genuinely just randomly generated. It's not like hand mapped stuff. If you die on a track and redo it, you get different notes that are just like loosely placed around the BPM of the track that's playing. It's very, very um, you know, not much time put into that at all. But it's, I don't know, a neat little thing for a couple minutes, I guess.
I was gonna say this is podcast number 2 of asking to include a photo of the cube for the viewers to see.
I mean, the cube just looks like legitimately like the basic standard Rubik's Cube. There's nothing that makes it look different.
You gotta show it to them.
I mean, you're recording them, right? So
Exactly.
go to your YouTube. Go to your YouTube.
Is he recording the Rubik's Cube games on his YouTube? I'm subscribed, but I haven't checked.
Yeah.
Well, I have footage of the app mini games on my YouTube, and I also have footage of solving a regular Rubik's Cube on my YouTube. On my secondary YouTube, which is 12mm. That's where I upload all my trash. But like, there's not. I mean, you can check out the footage of whatever I'm playing there, sure. But the cube itself doesn't look like anything else than a regular cube, for that matter.
Maybe you could show the cube while you're playing in a little screen.
Roy needs the
could.
full experience.
We need the cube.
The cool thing is with this app that since it is tracking your moves, that it has with most of these functions, with most of these games, it has a digital recreation of the cube that moves the same way as you solve it in real life. So I don't even need like a second camera, honestly. It's kind of neat the way that is. But yeah, that is the Guitar Hero minigame. There's another minigame that makes much more sense for the cube, where you are supposed to recreate certain shapes, certain color coordinations on one side of the cube in a limited time. So that you genuinely are using the cube as intended, basically, although you're only solving one side and not all 6 of them. And just copy a certain visual that is shown on the app with a timer going on. That is actually like a really cool, neat game that actually makes sense for a Rubik's Cube with an app attached. I couldn't beat all of the levels though, because it does. Eventually, the timer is so fucking clutch that I cannot keep up, and I'm not aiming to get like as good as the kids these days that can solve a cube in like 3 seconds or whatever. I'm not gonna actually focus that much on my cube skills to actually go through those levels. It's more fidget toy for me than anything that I'm trying to get good at. But that is a pretty neat minigame that I actually, like appreciate in this thing. Another minigame in this that I do not think makes much sense is a so-called cubicizer, which is a synthesizer thing, I guess, where you get a keyboard, a music keyboard, where each movement on the cube is a specific note, and I guess you can like do some simple songs with that. But that is it. There's no challenges. It doesn't sound good. There's a weird mode that has, instead of regular notes, it plays random sound effects, which is just complete nonsense and seems like a very rough, like throwaway idea.
Funny mode.
Did not spend much time with that. Yeah. Funny mode, yeah. And the fourth and last mini game in this app, which what the hell was it even? I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, there's a Simon Says thing where you have to copy in Simon Says fashion the movements that it shows you, but it's so dull and so slow that I don't even fucking care to beat more than 2 levels of that. It's just not interesting. It really is only the one mini game where you have to actually copy the images on the physical cube. That is actually like fun and like a good idea. The rest is kind of like stupid trash, but whatever. I mean, that's probably not the focus of this app anyway. It's supposed to like teach you how to actually solve the cube and like compete with actual people with your times on like leaderboards and whatever. But whatever. It's a neat little side thing. So those were the games that I've been playing still since the last time. I have a couple new games here. 3 more, which for one, I've started playing a game simply called Isopod, which is also a recent release that just came out a month or 2 ago. I remember many years ago when I was still using Twitter, I saw like the developer of this game do early movement tests for this game, a 3D platformer where you control a roly-poly. And I over the years, I forgot about this. I stopped using Twitter and whatever. But at some point, I got noticed that this game is actually now finished and released, and I was very much looking forward to this. And bought it pretty early on. I had only 1 session so far, and it seems fine. It seems neat. It seems like a solid again, a 3D platformer. You are roly-poly. You can run around, roll around. There is a little bit of a Sonic the Hedgehog vibe with the movement abilities, although this is very much, open environment, exploration-based kind of stuff. So I guess maybe a mix of Mario 64 and 3D Sonic, somewhere between that, which is neat. Though it can be a bit jank with the controls, with the physics. The writing is kind of fun. It has a very, very obvious anti-capitalist storyline about a bunch of evil capitalist aunts trying to enslave pretty much all the roly-polies for their industry and stuff.
Is
And
this
it
Ants the
really
movie?
it kinda is. It kinda is in that sense. I mean, the themes are there. Um, and yeah, it's just constantly dogging on capitalism the entire time. It's an extremely left-leaning game, you could say, and I kind of find that amazing. Kind of, it's funny, but it's also kind of awesome. And I love that they just unapologetically go there, even if it's not
Punk
like
bugs.
subtle or nuanced or at all in any way. uh, but yeah, this seems like a decent little game. Um, Another game that I've started playing in co-op. My co-op friend's current obsession, our regular game, is now a thing called Pigeon Simulator, a brand new release, an exclusive for the Xbox and the Xbox PC app, I think. Pigeon Simulator is one of those extraction type games. It's like similar to, I don't know, Phasmophobia or like Content Warning or Murky Divers is something I've talked about in recent episodes. It's a multiplayer game where you um, go into environments to fulfill tasks or find items and then leave before things heat up too much, before things kill you or whatever. And then that loop continues over and over as you purchase and upgrade abilities and items to make things easier, to get more cash, to get more done with each loop until eventually you die. It all gets reset and you can go again. Like that sort of game loop. Of course, in this one, as the title says, you control a pigeon, a quirky little pigeon. You have the ability to shoot people as like with your poop. Like there's literally like it goes into third person shooter mode and you shoot your bird poop at people's faces and whatever. It's pretty dope. And you try to
Realistic
collect
sim.
yeah, it's awesome. And you try to collect cursed objects in like a city environment and get them back to the extraction point. It all has like a sort of SCP paranormal spooky stuff story theme to it, with like the idea that these pigeons are part of a secret organization that cleans the world of these paranormal entities and whatever. It's very quirky. It's very I think it's comparatively to other like extraction games, it's pretty basic. It's probably a small you know small dev creation. It's also not very expensive or whatever. It's probably like a bit of a budget title when it comes to this subgenre, but it is doing what it wants to do, well enough to be entertaining. And some of the jank and whatnot honestly just adds to the goofy vibe of these types of games. So it's not always a detriment when things
Mm.
behave in a weird way in terms of the game engine and whatnot. My friend and I, we are both pigeon obsessed. We have a pretty good time with this. We're playing this regularly on the weekends now, and it's gonna
Nice.
probably stay in our rotation for a bit now. It's pretty much exactly what we like in terms of co-op video games. It's a very casual experience, and it doesn't have a concrete end, so we can just play however we want. It's pretty neat.
Honestly, for me, it's kind of funny because on Discord just like a day or two ago, I forget what happened, but there was a joke because some place listed their game now as a first-person shooter, but like FPP or some, and people were calling it a first-person pooper, which sounds like that's what this game is.
Well, it would be a third-person pooper, but that would be
True,
that
true.
would be accurate.
There you go. We found it, boys.
I would love to play a first-person pooper as well. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if
that's
I've
what
seen
people
that
were
before.
saying too. Can't wait for shitting simulator.
Dude, hell yeah. Uh, speaking of poo, the last game that I'm playing right now is called Puyo Tetris. That's a good segue. I would like to say. Puyo Tetris, dog. Holy crap! What a blessing this is to humanity. Holy fuck!
Right?
I Puyo Tetris for me was always like a title people were like jokingly throwing around, but I never like truly knew what the fuck it is. And it seemed like nobody else really truly knew what the fuck it is or whatever. I don't know. It seemed kind of enigmatic. And I went into this pretty much blind. I guess I realized beforehand that this is a franchise clash between Tetris and a thing called Puyo that I
Yeah,
don't
Puyo
know much
Puyo.
about.
Puyo
It's
Puyo is a very long running like puzzler game.
Yeah, I know now that it's a Sega franchise with like 20 plus titles, which is also a falling block puzzle game. Though this one
Yeah.
is based like it's a color match type of deal. It's closer to Dr. Mario or like Tetris 2 than it
It's
is
like
to Tetris.
Robotnik.
That's because
Sure.
that's because Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine
Yeah.
and
Okay.
one or two of them they're just reflubbed versions of a Japanese Puyo Puyo game. Actually,
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense.
it's like one of the Kirby ones.
Kirby ones. There's Kirby ones as well.
Yeah, what is it? I mean, you can just keep talking while I remember, because there's Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine is one of them.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I saw there's also a Puyo Tetris 2, which I'm definitely gonna buy at some point. And that one has Sonic the Hedgehog in it, I noticed. So the connection is obvious.
Kirby's Avalanche.
That's it. Thank you.
I've never heard of that, but I would be down for a Kirby falling block game. I need to look into that.
Yeah.
The thing is though, like the Puyo falling block style with the color match focus, I don't care much about those. I've never been good at those. The beauty of Tetris with just a pure basic block puzzling, putting those together and nothing else, is so great because it is so what's the word?
Intuitive?
Thank you. Exactly. Tetris is so insanely intuitive that you don't have to think much about what you're doing, and it comes very naturally to you to solve the problem in front of you. With Puyo, with any like sort of color matching thing, I myself at least, it's just a tiny bit too much thinking. So I never get into a flow state or like just can get into the game without like actively thinking about what I'm doing, and that throws me off very, very quickly. I usually don't like these types of things. And this Puyo Tetris thing, it has a whole ass story campaign, which apparently is like 8 hours long. Like it's a full thing with characters and story and all of the things.
Yeah.
And you, depending on the situation and depending on the character, you switch between playing a Puyo game or a Tetris game. Later on, you literally switch between those two in the same match as a timer goes off, and then it switches from Puyo to Tetris. The timer goes off again, it switches back to the Tetris and whatever. You basically like play it in tandem, which is insane but awesome. And most of these matches are also like a versus type, so you actually play against an NPC, which is something I love in Tetris, where you can throw garbage blocks at the other player, and of course you get them back at you as well. And so I don't like the Puyo stuff, but the way it is constantly switching between Tetris and Puyo is actually incredible at making it playable to me in a way that I can strategically be like, Okay, my strengths are in Tetris. This is where I'm gonna play offensively, but Puyo, I'm gonna stay defensively and just try to survive and just like actually have this strategic stuff as things
Yeah.
ramp up and the chaos like grows as the timer goes and the things switch constantly, and it's so fucking cool. It is so fun. In terms of like Tetris games and Tetris spin-offs, this is easily already like very, very high on my list. It is an incredibly clever and polished Tetris game. And I'm so excited to keep playing this. It was actually hard. I played this for the first time literally today, my first session, and it was actually hard for me to stop playing because it's so fun. And also the story, the plot. This is the deepest lore Tetris has ever gotten. It is
Really?
it's so I mean, you literally have characters that are named after tetriminos that like personify specific tetriminos. There's a whole crew of like spaceship inhabitants with the captain being T, which is the T block personified, which I agree with because it's the best block and he should be the boss. Uh, and you have
There's a T in team.
there's a T. That is true. The I block is like a calm, clever, tall dude, which also kind of fits for the block, I feel.
So are any of the Tetraminos hot?
Nah, they are like cutesy little girls and boys, pretty much. It's all that sort of
That's the
vibe. It's
Puyo
all
Puyo
very
style.
kawaii, high school kind of stuff over.
Green
Maybe
M&M
the-
Tetris.
That's the Puyo Puyo
Yeah.
style.
Yeah. The only thing I'm not happy about is that J and L, the personification of the J and the L block, they are represented as evil twins that just bully other people and they suck ass. My complaint here is that should be Z and S because those are the worst pieces in all of Tetris,
That
and
does
it would
make
make
sense,
much more sense for them. Yeah. That's my only complaint with these personifications. But it's like, I think it's a common joke, at least in my life, to come up with some sort of story for Tetris, which is, of course, inherently without a story. But here, it actually exists. There are literally Tetris characters personified in an adventure, in a cross-world adventure with the Puyo universe and whatnot. It's amazing. This is one of the greatest games of all time. I will stand to that until the day I die, and I cannot wait to buy Puyo Tetris 2 as well. I cannot believe it took me this long to get to this. Why did people not fucking throw this into my face more often? This is incredible.
I've always heard great things about Puyo Puyo Tetris, albeit just from like Alpharad and stuff.
I guess to me it just seemed like people were joking about it like a meme. I
No,
wasn't
people
sure.
really like this game.
All right, yeah, I can see now why. It's definitely incredible. Like, it's awesome. I'm in love with this right now. It's the best game ever.
I do want to also say, because you talked about the story and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
one, Puyo Puyo itself actually has like a long running story in all the games, which is kind of fun and wild.
I figured.
And-
Yeah.
As another random fact, Puyo Puyo itself is kind of like a weird spin-off / they use the same characters, but I don't think it's the same universe, of Mato Monogatari, which is like a mystery dungeon game.
Oh my fucking god.
So there's deep Puyo Puyo lore if you decide to delve into it. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, like there's characters showing up in Puyo left and right, and I had a feeling with 20 plus titles in the franchise, they must all be pre-established things from long storylines or whatever. It's wild to see this stuff.
Like Arl, I remember she was like somebody people wanted for Smash Bros. Because I'm like into that big speculation scene. It's also worth noting Satan is a character in this game series.
I mean, he's also on South Park, so.
Right.
True.
I love that Satan and Tetris is now in the same canon. But is Tetris in South Park? I actually don't think so, which is shocking. Someday. But yeah, okay. That was my Tetris ramble for this episode. Love this shit.
Been a
Please,
while since we
Leah.
had a good Tetris ramble.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's been a bit. And how good this return feels. Man, I love this franchise.
I think Puyo Tetris was one of the games that was rentable at my library, so I've got to consider that one at some point.
You really gotta put that on top of your list. It's so good.
I mean, I love me a good puzzler. I keep
hell
wanting
yeah.
to play more Tetrises after the last time I played Tetris.
I've said previously that I think my favorite Tetris game ever, aside from the regular classic, is Tetris Battle Gaiden, the previously Japanese exclusive versus game where different characters legit had different abilities. It's an amazing game that was part of the Tetris Forever compilation last year. And this is so close to that. Sure, the characters don't have special abilities, but with the Puyo mix mixed in, you have that variety, and it feels very, very similar with the whole like versus setup where you play against NPCs and whatnot. I love this. It's so fucking fun. But anyway, sorry. We gotta move on from Tetris. Leah, please.
I know
stop
shocking,
me.
but Tetris cannot be the entire episode.
I mean, it could be.
Not today, though.
One day we'll have discussion topic Tetris. We know it's happened.
Yeah.
Oh God. Sure.
My playing, I'm also gonna do what Matt did and just kind of go quickly broadly over the ones that I've mentioned before. Wordle, I'm still playing that in Discord. Got it in 4 today. Mostly because I wasn't paying attention, and I like the first 3 turns I usually just do 3 words just to get like a good mix of things, and then I look at like which actual letters I have and move it around. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten it in 3 because I had all the letters by then, and I was like, I wasn't paying attention. So that's still going on Discord. Myrtle, I'm still playing on the browser. I actually got 2 more of their, well, like the junior version of their books, because we just recently got a new bookstore in the area, and so I went, and one of the books I got for me were the junior versions of Myrtle. So I don't know. Do you play puzzle books? Do you read puzzle books? I don't know. However you experience them. I've got 2 more of those, so I've been doing those along with the daily puzzles. Tory Note I'm still playing, which I'm not really sure what the end goal is here, because again, I'm also playing Travel Frog, and Travel Frog, at least I know, once you've gotten like all the pictures, then it's pretty much done with the game. But Tory Note, I guess, is just like to unlock all the toys that there are to place, and that'll be that. So still playing that because it's a struggle to get new things unlocked, really, because you have to use the same currency to also buy the food to get the birds to your little clearing. So I spend money on the food, and then I don't have money to unlock things to put out in the field for them. So that's gonna take me a bit because I don't really tend to open that much. I'm still playing Nitzal. I don't think I've mentioned this last time. Maybe I did. I don't know. But as an update, I'm level 50 or 51 at this point. Also still doing arrows, also still doing logic puzzles. Yeah, the logic puzzles, I'm really just focusing on like the daily puzzles. So I'm like in the middle of September, I think, at this point. And arrows, they do have daily ones, but I've just been doing like the actual progression of levels. And I think I'm like the 200s or something at this point. But again, I'm just playing that during the ad breaks of Downton, so while we watch Downton Abbey. So that's just chugging along at a very slow pace. And as for the new stuff, Tiny Bird Garden Deluxe, which I mentioned last time, was a Nico Atsume clone that I used to play back in the day on my phone. But I've noticed that it's not on the Play Store anymore. But since I was re-downloading Travel Frog to play again, I went looking to see if this was available anywhere, and it's on Steam, which is weird because a game like this really lends itself more to being on your phone because you're supposed to check it like multiple times a day. And like, unless you just have it open all the time on your computer, you're not gonna open it multiple times during a day. Also, they don't give you like notifications like, oh, the seeds run out or something like that. So what I've been doing is I've got multiple monitors. I just open it up and like put it in a monitor, and I just check in on it every once in a while in the background. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of replaced Spirit City Lo-Fi for me. Just having
Mm.
it open, and it looks like I've been like, this game doesn't have anything to it really. It's just like watching birds come and feed on seed. But it's like I have 16 hours on Steam right now, and it's like, wow, she must love this. And I'm like, I'm not actually playing, it's just like running in the background. But yeah, Professor Layton and the Last Spectre, because I've gotten into this little section of puzzle games lately, I was like, you know what? I never finished the prequel trilogy, and I went and I found my 3DS, found all the games, figured out which game I was up to last, which was this one, and apparently had only done 6 puzzles in, so it's not like too much to backtrack on. So I just erased my save that I had and I started again. So now I'm like a 6. I mean, I'm 10 puzzles in, I think now. So yeah, so far it's a little weird because again, it's a prequel, so it doesn't have Luke in it. So that's kind of weird. I'm used to their
What? Hold on.
pairing.
What did you just say? It doesn't have who in it?
Luke.
But you were talking about a prequel trilogy, and you're talking about Luke. This is so Star Wars coded.
Poor guy's brain is freezing.
Sorry.
Yeah, his assistant in the main trilogy is Luke, and so far in this one it's just been this other lady. I don't know if he's gonna meet Luke eventually, but
It's literally Star Wars. That's crazy.
Perhaps Luke will be his father.
Oh no! Spoiler alert.
So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite DS franchises. Like I didn't play a lot on the 3DS era of games. Like I just basically played Zelda games and whatever my mom bought, and then I would play whatever she had. And I had like the 2 Adventure Time games that they came out with.
Oh.
But yeah, like this is probably like every time that the new one was coming out, I was like super pumped about it. So I also downloaded, there's like I like looked on the wiki and was like, which are the ones I haven't played? Which are the ones that I have yet to play? Let me collect them, put them in order, and like get through these. So after this, there's 2 other ones because they're prequel trilogy. That's 3, and then there's one mobile game, and allegedly they announced it like 2 years ago that we were getting one for Switch, but at this point it might be on Switch too. So
right. Yeah.
That's gonna be a struggle because my luck is gonna come out on Switch 2, and I'm not gonna be able to play it because I don't have a Switch 2.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a problem, but I'll deal with that when I get to it.
Well, it's only a matter of time until emulation hits. Wink,
Yeah.
wink. I didn't say that.
And my next one is a Spice World, which I have on PlayStation 1 over at my parents' house.
Oh my god.
But in preparation for this episode where we were talking about replaying things, I was trying to finish other games that I've been emulating lately, and they just don't seem to be working, either in Play Night and RetroArch and various simulators who are trying to figure things out. And this one I had been trying to get working for my birthday in January, and that didn't work. And for some reason now it started up, and I was like, oh my god, this actually works. So I was like, since it decided to boot up for this one time, I was like, I have to play this for a bit. So I mean, there's not much to this game to begin with. Like it's just, it's like barely even a rhythm game. So I did like 2 little remixes of songs. I didn't even get to the point where like you actually record basically like you put together a remix of a song, and then you have to like practice your dance moves, and then you record the dance moves, and then you put it together in the TV studio. And I never like liked the TV studio part of it, so I just do the remixing and do the dance moves, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I don't want to have to touch anything else. So I did that twice, and then I just closed the game because I had other things to do. But I was like, oh, that was nice. I haven't played that in like 30 years or something like that. So that
other
was
things to do more important than playing Spice World PS1.
I'm not sure that's possible, honestly.
So yeah, and then this other one that I found through an ad, probably in Logic Puzzles or in Arrow, but it's called Drop the Cat. and it's basically a mix of those games where I don't know what the names are, but like you have like a different little stick figure people that are different colors, and you have to like collect them into like a bus or a car or something like that. And like you have like a whole plaza of them, and you have to get them sorted into their vehicles and like pulled away from the curb. And then there's also block puzzles where like all the different they kind of look like tetriminos, and they're all different colors, but all the sides of the playing field are that color, and you have to get that block over to the other side to get out. But the twist here is that the people are cats, and the instead of the blocks being blocks, they're holes in the board. So you have to move the blocks over to the cats, so the cats fall into the void, and then the block disappears from the field of play. So,
My God.
normally I don't care about cats in games or games about cats or
Mhm.
games with cats, but this is about chucking them into the void, so it was a little bit more my level of it.
I
So
figured that was it. Yeah.
Well, a little bit different than your standard cat game.
yeah.
God damn.
So I was
God
like, you know what?
damn.
We'll play this for a little. And yeah, I was almost late to this podcast because I was trying to get through one of the levels.
Damn, everybody was
Jesus.
almost late to this podcast, apparently.
Oh man.
Yeah.
When you have cats in Tetris, what else do you need?
Gotta get rid of those cats.
Yeah. But I'll probably drop this like the cats by the next
Oh
episode.
my
So
God,
don't
dog.
think too hard about it. So yeah, and I believe that's the end of my
Right.
games
I have to
for
recover from the cats thrown into the void for a second here.
Much like the cat, this game is over.
Jesus. Yeah. We will crawl out of this cat hole and continue to our next section, which is gonna be the discussion section. And as we have said before, the theme today is gonna be replays. Do we ever do a replay of a game? If so, when and why? And has our thinking about the game maybe changed after replay? All these questions and more right now, right here. Who the fuck here is replaying video games? Who has the time?
Well, I suspect Matt has replayed Tetris many times.
Yeah, you got me there. I always have time for Tetris.
I mean, you know, when it comes to Tetris, time makes time for Tetris itself.
There it is.
If-
Yep, truth.
If people tried hard enough, we'd have 25 hours a day, but 1 hour would be dedicated solely to Tetris.
That is the utopia I want to live in.
Anyway, though, replays.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something that other people have experienced, but I do feel like I've replayed games a bit less as I got older, more so replaying games when I was younger.
I'm
kind
thinking
of
it's
thing.
probably for most people. Yeah.
But I definitely still replay games. Like earlier, I said I was playing Sacred Stones. I'd say probably the most common reason I replay a game is because I feel like playing a game, but I don't necessarily feel like learning something new or having to pay maybe as much attention. So I'm kind of going for old comfort food kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, like a lot of stuff I've replayed is like Pokemon and Fire Emblem. And like, you know, you can just boot up a Pokemon, run a Nuzlocke, and one, there's not a lot of things like it, so there's not much to compete with it. And two, you kind of know what's going on, but also you can switch things up enough that's not really the same experience in the same way. Stuff like that.
Pokemon were one of the first things I was thinking of as well. That is definitely a comfort game. And yeah, like you said, you know the structure of the game already, especially when it comes to the earlier ones, which are, of course, simpler, more basic.
Yeah.
And you know what you have to do, and you can spice it up with extra rules that you set for yourself, like a Nuzlocke, or I do the stuff where I try to get a team of Pokemon I've never used before and that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we are on the absolute same boat here. That is a go-to for me. A replay that happens every couple of years for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the same with me. Just like evergreen replay, or like you can do a run. I'm only catching one type of Pokemon, for example.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. It's perfect for these kinds of things. Yeah.
All bug,
Yeah, exactly. All ice.
all ice,
Good
baby.
luck.
Who needs defense? And for me, like Fire Emblem's kind of the same way. Because, like, the maps are all the same. You know the structure of the game, but you can use different units or do an Iron Man where you don't reset when a unit dies, or you can look at new supports, or, if the game has a route split, you can play the other route or whatever, stuff like that. And since the
Yeah.
level ups are somewhat randomized and stats are meaningfully important, sometimes a unit that's normally bad does good, and you're changing up what you do or whatever. So it's like an easy replay option kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what are games that you frequently replay, if at all?
The only one I really I played GTA, the trilogy this year, which I
Oh,
hadn't
true.
played
Yeah, I
that since.
remember that.
Yeah, I played that when they first came out on PlayStation. So, um, I mean, every once in a while, whatever's on Nintendo Switch Online, I'll throw, Yoshi's Island a lot of the times I'll jump into,
Oh,
Tetris I'll
yeah.
jump into. But I don't really like give myself little I mean, I used to do that a lot more when I was younger, like give myself a goal in a game and just try to do that. But I haven't done that since maybe PlayStation 1. So,
All right. The lowest replayer here.
yeah. Yeah, most of the time, like I don't even reread books a lot of the time. Like
Yeah.
most of the time, like the moment I'm done with something, I'm done with it and I won't come back to it unless there's like some challenge. Like I've reread Clockwork Orange like multiple times just because like I either saw like a play based on it or somebody was like talking about it in like some book club and I was just like, oh, let me go through this again. But
Makes sense.
I do want to get back around to the Red Dead games and play them because I really just went through the main storyline. I did no side quests when I
Mhm.
did it. And then I ended it and then I was like regretting that I didn't spend more time in those worlds. So I do want to get back to those now that there's a remaster for the first one and I own the second one again um on PlayStation. So I do want to get around to those again. I do want to get back to Super Mario World, the first one, not Yoshi's Island. Um, because that was another one that I never did any of the like special roads or whatever that they have to unlock. And I always used to be curious about that when I was younger because I was like, what does that road do? What is that? Like, nobody ever explained what those were. And I was always assuming you would come back to them at some point in the game and then you don't.
Right.
So I've been meaning to look up a guide and see like all the little nooks and crannies of that game that are available out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
revisiting games like that, yeah, from childhood where you didn't really understand everything, and now as an adult you actually can make sense of it. That is one of my favorite things to do. Although it's for me mostly it's games that I've not been able to beat at all as a kid, and then now actually for the first
Yeah.
time beat as an adult. But that
Yeah,
is
I've been in
of
that
course a
boat.
whole subject that we might be talking another time, so I'm not gonna do dwell on that too much. But I get the appeal of that. That's a lot of fun. Uh, I've noticed for myself, and that's probably also not uncommon or whatever. The games that I mostly replay, it's rarely like a full on story focused campaign or whatever. It is more likely that it's a casual game or like a lot of racing games I have that I replay
Right.
every couple years. F-Zero on SNES I've played a million times and will continue to do so. The original Trackmania is something that I go to every couple of years, and Lego Racers 2 specifically, not the first one. It's all of these things that I love. Mini Metro is also something I've been booting up over the years again and again for a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of minutes.
You bringing up racing games does make me want to point out that for me, sports games, that's something I find endlessly
Right.
replayable as well, kind of thing. Especially because if you do franchise mode, it is kind of similar in Pokemon and all that. You can make like a pretty new experience from the same building blocks, kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
And also fighting games.
yeah, definitely.
We've been watching Twisted Metal. And so like the only
Mhm.
one that I really played back to front was Twisted Metal Black. And I remember like just finish the game, get credits, whatever is usually my thing. But I was like, I want to know everybody's story. So like I would just replay each character constantly just to figure out like what their stories were. So I've been meaning to do that with I own like 3 other Twisted Metal ones and I've been meaning to just replay every single person's story about
Huh.
that. But
I mean,
you can
that'd be
do that with
cool.
like so many of those fighting games too, where you're just like, I'm only gonna play this
All
one
the
character,
arcade
find out their
games.
story and stuff like that.
Yeah,
True.
that makes
True.
sense. I'd say Matt mentioned not replaying story games much. I will say there are some games like that I do replay a lot. Mostly Persona games, partially because I
Mhm.
just like Persona 3 so much. But even though those are long, I've been Persona 4 probably 4 or 5 times, even at like 100 hours each. Good use of time.
Yeah.
Um,
Couldn't be me.
couldn't be me. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I've probably beaten that game 6 or 7 times. That's
Damn.
that's just a fun, breezy one. Pikmin, that's very replayable, especially because like Pikmin 1, you can try to beat the game faster day by day kind of thing. Kind of arcadey in that regard. Trying to think what else. I've definitely been in the same boat as Matt. I came back to a game I couldn't beat as a kid. Although ironically, I feel like what happened is a lot of those games I then stopped before I actually beat them and now need to go back to them a third time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bitter.
I've been there.
I have a whole list of games I've not been able to beat as a kid, but conquered as an adult. But again, I think I want to keep that for another day.
Yeah.
That's a whole subject in itself. Here's the thing though, like, have there ever been replays that like genuinely made you think differently about a game than you did before? I have some examples for that for me. I have 2 examples. For one, like when Spore came out, the evolution simulating game, I was
Right.
absolutely obsessed with it that I like replayed it over and over and over again, more than I did with any game ever. It's literally like consumed months of my life at the time. And it really was the sort of game where with each replay, my young, stupid teenage brain was realizing, the mechanics behind the pretty concepts uh, came became more apparent with each replay, and I eventually realized how actually mechanically simple the game is, despite advertising itself as such a grand, complex uh, opus of a game and the like. I will never remember that experience. I never stopped loving the game just because I have a knack for the creations side of that game. But it really was one of those sort of eye-opening experiences where you eventually like realize the development behind the game and how the flashy lights, kind of disappear as you understand what's actually going on behind the scenes and how it's actually not that impressive and the sort. It will always like I was stuck in my head, but also not as a negative thing, but actually like as an interesting thing that actually made me look at game design a bit more. And another thing that had a much bigger space between the playthroughs.
Right.
I grew up playing the original Spyro trilogy on the PlayStation 1 lots, and I loved Spyro all my life. Although I think Spyro 2 out of that trilogy is the only one I actually beat as a kid for different reasons. And
Yeah, I gotta get that trilogy.
when the Reignited trilogy came out a couple of years ago, I got that as well and like re-experienced all 3 of those games back to back in their, modernized, cleaned up version. And actually beat all 3 of them for the first time. Besides 2, beat 1 and 3 also for the first time. And that was also like a whole as learning experience because I realized why number 2 was the one that I loved the most as a kid. And it also made me kind of realize a couple of things about the development of the series because it is really such a picture book example of the first game just being an interesting concept with rough execution. The second one finding its footing more and adding good variety to actually make it a better version. And then step 3, the third game, actually going a bit too far, adding too many gimmicks, trying to elevate itself too much and losing it a bit. And that was
Right.
also, didn't see that as a kid, but I kind of felt that something was going on since I only did like the second one so much. And then actually understood on a more technical level why that might have been when I played the reignited versions. Like those were like a couple of the replays that really like, changed something for me. Did you ever have anything even kind of like that?
I would say, I'm gonna say definitely yes, but I'm not sure if necessarily always major differences is how I'd put it.
Right.
I'm kind of trying to think for a moment because I know there's some, but even aside from thinking about what they are, I have to think about how to put it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd also say sometimes, if this makes sense, there's been times like I hadn't played a game for a long time. Like, this is kind of the opposite of what you're asking, but I think it's related, so I'm bringing it up.
Sure.
where like I haven't played a game in a really long time, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, man, was that game really as good as I thought it was, or is it just kind of like I played it when I was younger
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
just liked it a lot? And then you go back and you're like, actually, this is really good. So yeah, or in some cases, it was as bad as I
Yeah.
thought. It's really bad, kind of thing.
Dude,
Um,
that exactly. I think, and you maybe had the same experience. Like a lot of, I remember as a kid being angry at games because I thought they were unfair. But my parents said, "No, you just suck, dude. Calm down or whatever." But then you grow up and you learn how bullshit a lot of the retro games were because they came from an arcade background and they did fuck with difficulty for one reason or another. It has so often been such a affirming and satisfying realization as an adult revisiting these games that way.
I can't say I ever had the parent part, but I definitely have had times where like
Fair.
where like I went back to a game and the difficulty was not what I remembered. Although sometimes it kind of is. I mean, like when I beat Super Mario Bros. 3 as a kid, I knew it was hard, kind of thing. So I don't
Right.
know about with that one.
Yeah.
But like going back to the question about replays changing what you thought of the game or stuff, real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Like one game I think I've liked more. I've liked more when I've gone back to it as an adult or throughout my life than I liked when I was a kid is Super Mario 64. Like,
Okay.
I've always been a guy who prefers Super Mario Sunshine to Super Mario 64, which I still am.
Oh.
I've always like preferred the controls, the energy, that kind of thing. But and this is despite the fact I grew up with the Nintendo 64, so like I was there when it was like innovative and all that. So it's not like I'm looking at after innovate. I'm like, oh, I don't know the big deal. It's more I've just always preferred Sunshine kind of thing. But I feel like when I went back to Super Mario 64 a few times, there's definitely a lot of weird tech in that game you can do, which is very interesting when you start to dive into it.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting is that some of that tech is like wild, but it's not necessarily super hard to pull off some of it. So even somebody like me, who I'd say is like a modestly skilled gamer, not like a super skilled gamer or anything, can pull some of it off and be like, whoa, that's cool. And the vibe as I go further on feels more and more unique when I go back to that game as well. The energy of it. And I just find myself liking that game more and more. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and also like it and like Super Mario Bros. 1 and stuff, when you look up like the weird speedrun stuff and all the crazy things people have delved into it, it gives you a different appreciation for the game. Obviously that's not fully about
Yeah.
replays, but it
But
is
very true. Yeah.
it like weaves into it.
Yeah.
Um Fire Emblem 7 is a game I liked and enjoyed when I played it. And I've replayed it and beaten it probably like 5 times now at this point. And more when I beat it and come back to it, I realize that I really like the story even more than I first realized. It's it's very well designed, sometimes in ways I didn't appreciate the first time I played it.
Right.
I don't know
Yeah.
if this fully counts as a replay, but Fire Emblem 7 was the first Fire Emblem I played, and I stopped after only a few maps because like I didn't really get it is the best way I would put it. I feel like despite the fact that Fire Emblem 7 starts with a long ass tutorial, it's not necessarily actually good at teaching you the game, is how I'd put it.
Oh.
And I beat Fire Emblem Three Houses when I got my Switch, because I've always been really interested in Fire Emblem. And that was the first Fire Emblem game I ever beat. And for some reason, beating that game, it just kind of clicked for me. And then when I went back to Fire Emblem 7, I got it. You know what I mean? And then when I replayed that game, I was like, oh shit, that's really good, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm sure I've been like that with franchises as well. I can't think of one right now. Leah, did you have any life-changing replays?
No. I mean, for the most part, when I do go through, like, one thing I will say is that when I did Grand Theft Auto 3, I remember thinking like this game is amazing. I remember it being amazing. This was like my life for like 4 months out of, the high school years of my life.
Yeah.
And I remember a few people mentioning on the Discord that they were gonna replay it, and they were like, "It was kind of okay." And I was like, "What do you mean? This game is amazing." And then when I went back to it, and I was like, "There's really not much of a story." I don't know what Teen Me was looking at, but like, So it was that sort of thing where I was like, wow, okay, maybe, when you're younger and you don't have much gaming experience on your belt, open world games look amazing.
Right,
And then
yeah.
it's like, okay. So it wasn't
Yeah.
that great, but I do still think like when I went back to San Andreas, I was just like, no, this game is still amazing. This is still giving me the emotions that I felt originally. So
The dopamine is hitting.
I will say I think like Portal has like a
Oh.
lot of different mods. So like I've always had to go back to Portal 2 to play through various mods or whatever. And I think that also was interesting to see like my progression as a gamer in puzzlers where I'm like I remember playing Portal 2 and it was me, my dad, and my nephew all trying to play, trying to figure out the puzzles together. And there was a lot of times where we would like overthink the puzzle and,
Mhm.
going through and like had been so long that I had forgotten the solution to a lot of the problems. Like I wasn't overthinking as much anymore, knowing that like, oh, I remember going too far on these. Now I'm like, okay, now I know not to think too hard on the solving them. But there was a lot of things where at that point in time, I had been away from games for a while when I first played it. So now with a little bit more under my belt, I was like, oh, okay, now I kind of understand more how these games are connected and how they're put together and like I appreciated more game design
Mhm.
replaying Portal 2 than I did initially cuz at first it was just kind of like this is a game everybody's talking about whatever.
Yeah.
Um
Makes sense.
so but yeah, that's sort of like when you don't have to focus too much on the story or like the puzzle elements of a game and you're able to look more at like the behind the scenes or whatever and just try and figure out like, oh, I understand like how this is put together, how, why they said the certain things that they did. Even like I haven't replayed BioShock yet, but like even that game I've watched other people play and just been like, "Oh, okay, I see where certain things were getting put into the story early on and like the storytelling aspect and like the game design, game levels and stuff like that." It's all interesting to see, when it's not new and you're trying to take everything in at once where you're just like, "No, I know certain aspects of this game now I can focus on a little bit more."
Yeah.
That's always fun to do when it's a treasured game, I guess,
Definitely.
personally. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's just fun to play one of your favorite games and learn more about how it ticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. But I think for the most part, when it comes to that, it's gonna be YouTube videos analyzing these more likely than me actually actively replaying a game.
That's fair too.
I the only time I think I did that is with Remedy games, like, after I finished Alan Wake
Hmm.
2 and maybe Control, I went through a lot of those game analyst things where they were, like, an hour game essays or whatever, or, like, hour-long, like, discussions about it,
Yeah.
but, like, most of the time, like, maybe I'll look up, like, a Reddit post or, like, the sub and, like, read through people's ideas and be like, "Okay, anyway," and then I move on to the next game.
I feel like I've read far more of that, or watched and read far more of that stuff for games that are not my favorites, or I haven't played a bunch than the opposite.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is probably true for me as well. Yeah. There's a certain type of game that is interesting, but only enough to learn about it through other people, not enough to actually
Yeah,
play it. Like that definitely exists. That's a thing as well.
yeah,
I mean, for me, one of the big issues was always money, because, like I've said before, I grew
yeah.
up very
True. Yeah.
poor.
Right.
If I don't have the ability to play Dark Souls, but I'm interested in Dark Souls, I'm going to start looking up a bunch of Dark Souls shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't have the ability to play Dark Souls either for other reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all don't have souls. Crazy.
Yeah. Weird, huh? How that happens.
Um, yeah, I've talked about this recently, but, like, when or previously, but there's been times where, like, I really wanted a game, I didn't have the money for the game, and, like, it was, like, taking over my brain where, like, I just wanted to watch what it
Yeah.
was like to experience the game, and instead of, like, watching a Let's Play, I would just watch somebody, like, go through the menus and
What
just
the
be like,
heck?
I just want that startup section, just be like, "What do the
It,
menus
it's
look like? What do the options
it's
look
just
like?"
like
Like
it's almost like ASMR for like video game graphics, if that makes
Oh my
yeah.
sense.
god.
You just wanna, like, sit there and just, like, look at it and be like, "Imagine I was moving this cursor around." Amazing, great.
Imagine I was here.
Yeah.
Imagine dragons.
Oh no. Oh no.
But yeah, so it's that sort of thing where I will focus on watching other people play it, and, like, even earlier today, I was watching, like, an episode of Dispatch because I was like, "Oh, Dispatch might be something I'm into," but, like, now it's completed, and I was like, "What if I just watch somebody else play it instead of spending my money on it?" And
Sure.
then I watched, like, 1 episode, and I wasn't a fan, so I was like, "I'm gonna save my money now and take that off my wish
Yeah.
Hey,
list."
there you go.
Those sorts of, like, episodic games, I feel I don't know so much about that one, but I feel like those tend to be a little bit more replayable because you wanna know like I did with,
Sure, yeah.
That
We
makes
We Should
sense, yeah.
Talk earlier this year. Like, you wanna see, like, the other different branches or whatever, so with those kinda games tend to lend themselves a little bit easier than just, like, playing, like, Zelda from the start again, where it's like nothing is going to change. This is gonna be the same story.
You never know, you might get the personalized copy.
No, that's Super Mario 64, you dummy.
Hey, you never know. Ocarina of Time might be that way too.
Sure,
But,
sure.
like, funny enough, like, another game I've replayed a ton throughout my life is Star Fox 64 because,
Ah.
I mean, it's pretty made for replays kinda thing. I was actually just looking at, Elric's Bootleg Game Shack talking about, like, cut content from that game, for example.
Yeah, all those arcadey retro games are like all of them are like made for replays, honestly.
Ridge Racer Type 4 I've brought up. That was a game I liked it so much. Not only did I beat every difficulty, immediately after doing that, I did 2 more runs just because I could.
That is special, man. If a game makes you that excited about it, that is really
Yeah.
special. I don't think I've had this since Spore back in the day.
I think Ridge Racer Type 4 is the last game I can think of that made me do it, honestly. Like,
Damn.
I played that game, like, nonstop for, like, 2 or 3 days straight. Did easy,
That's
normal,
awesome.
hard, expert. Expert took me, like, 3 hours.
I need to get
Afterwards,
to that.
immediately did 2. Dude, if you play it, like, I will play alongside you kind of dude. I'm
Yeah,
so
okay.
down.
I will let you know when the time comes.
Yes, because, dude, it's so good. And you know what? Technically speaking, you can argue that beating each difficulty is a replay because they're the same tracks. That's definitely a game. The more I
Sure.
replayed it, the more it got, but I think that's a bit cheating.
Isn't the difficulty in a racing game basically new game plus? I think you could argue.
Well, the thing is, in Ridge Racer Type 4, each difficulty has a different storyline.
Oh, well, yeah, then I wouldn't count them as individual playthroughs, I don't think.
Right. I listed them as individual ones on how long to beat because I wanted to put my different times on each one.
Sure, sure.
Oh, I see.
But speaking of potential future replays, and I think we have mentioned a couple already, but like generally, do y'all have any planned replays on your list somewhere? Anything that you
So,
are looking to replay soon?
probably, I'm not necessarily like the next month or whatever, but at some point. Obviously, I'm replaying
Yeah.
Sacred Stones, like I said. Well, I didn't mention this yet, but one thing I do replay a lot is Super Mario Bros. 1.
That
Just,
Hmm.
game is good. Yeah.
it, it's good, and you can beat in like an hour to an hour and a half. Sometimes it's just like,
Yeah.
man, I just want basic ass platformer that I just know I can kind of get through, get a few speed bumps and challenge, but it's not going to be too much Super Mario Bros. 1.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
good fix for that, yeah.
I'm not really. This is kind of a thing where I'm not sure what the game exactly will be. But my same friend that I played Summon Night Swordcraft story with, I want to replay some other games with them sometime. Now, the next game we're gonna play is not a replay, but like, I don't know. They've expressed interest in Mother 3, for example. I could see replaying that.
Mhm.
Ridge Racer Type 4. I could see.
Obviously,
I've considered
obviously.
replaying. I was gonna replay some of the Metroid games earlier this year, but then I didn't do it. So that's what I might do. Yoshi's Island and Super Mario Bros. 3 I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, yeah. Yoshi's Island is one that I replay every couple of years as well. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great. I love Yoshi's Island. It's in my opinion, it's one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played, period.
I am with you 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I have it like sixth all time on my platformers list or something. Not even 2D, just all platformers. 7th, sorry. But one I think I do want to replay at some point because, just like Matt said, it's one of those games I've never been to start playing when I was younger. Is Majora's Mask, which is one of my favorite games, but I got stuck a little over halfway through or so.
Yeah, that's on my list as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to childhood games, I still have to beat. I do have a whole list of those as well.
I want to get a friend to play Klonoa, and because of that, I'd probably replay it with Klonoa rules.
I've heard, yeah, I've heard.
And like the final one I mentioned, unless something else comes up when you guys are talking, is I've wanted to replay Kirby 64 because that's just like really comfy little game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to replay it as well. Yeah, that is a chill one.
Yeah, just great if you just want like a modestly sized platformer. I always love the way that you combine the powers in that game. None of the other Kirby games seem like they've hit it the same way, which is shocking to me. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I think I do want to get to Red Dead 1 and 2 again. And I want to try, I guess they're remasters, so they're not a replay technically, but I do want to get back to I want to play The Last of Us part 1 and 2 again.
I'll count that as a replay.
I'd also count. But I usually like, real quick, I don't want to interrupt too much, but I just want to say one of my favorite things to do with replays is to play like a remaster or slightly different version, like the Super Mario Advance version or whatever. I would consider that like a replay that is still fresh.
Yeah. That's basically how I've been doing them anyway. So I do want to get back to, I've played every other, I haven't played Majora, but like, or finished Majora's Mask, but I do want to go back to A Link to the Past because I'm noticing that of all the games that I put as like our essential games on the podcast graphic, I'm getting around to replaying them very slowly. So I did San Andreas. I've got Yoshi's Island on there. Last of Us is probably going to happen next year. And then I also have A Link to the Past, which I've been hesitant to replay because it holds so much weight in my heart, where I'm like, I don't want to know if I'm wrong, like if it doesn't hold up or whatever. So I'm very hesitant to play that one. Like I start it, get up to the castle, and then I'm like, I can't do anymore. I don't want to know if the story doesn't hold up in my brain or whatever. But I will get around to that at some point, just because I miss it and I want to replay Death Mountain specifically.
Actually, funny to me that you mentioned the How Long to Beat video collage. I have a game on my list that I want to replay relatively soon as well. With that is also on the collage, and I didn't realize that. Inscription is something that I want to replay probably sometime next year because enough time passed that I've forgotten like some of the major beats, and that is it is one of my favorite games ever, and that had a lot of like surprises and fourth wall breaking nonsense and whatever. And so I think enough time passed that I could enjoy another playthrough a lot. And similarly, one that I've been thinking a lot about a lot in previous weeks that I really want to get to again is a very like story focused one, The Beginner's Guide, which is I think a slightly less popular thing from the Stanley Parable developer. And I remember really loving that, but it's probably been like close to 10 years since I've experienced that, and I've been really, really thinking a lot about that lately. I really want to re-experience that.
I do want to replay both of those. I played both of those back to back, which was a wild day in my. But I do want to replay those again too, because I think those were like one of the very first PC games that I actually got to play when I got this computer. So, or maybe not even. Maybe I played it on my MacBook. Yeah, I had a very long game drought. So.
A wild 2 games to start with.
Yeah, because I knew that they were going to be good, so I wanted to start off with a bang.
Yeah, and those are also uniquely PC.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of funny bringing up the collage because me replaying Swordcraft Story means I also replayed a game on the collage.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Yoshi's Island is on there.
True. It's not mine, but true.
Yeah.
Also, like a game that's not on the collage that I've been meaning to replay. Someday I'm gonna replay I'm Scared, which is also a fourth wall breaking horror game. I remember when we put the collage together, that was one of my candidates to put on there, but it didn't make the cut. So I guess that's closed as well. I guess I'm just replaying favorite games or whatever. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Like we've said Pokemon games are some go-tos for Roy and me to play again. I have specific plans though to specifically play Pokemon Diamond or Pearl because I remember that was the biggest Pokemon game I was the most hyped for when it was announced, and also got day one, but don't remember a single thing about, probably because I ran through it so quickly. And it's always been like a mystery to me. It was also kind of the downfall where I kind of stopped paying attention to Pokemon games. And I've always been like, I need to revisit this and actually see what the fuck was up with that. Like, why why is it so weird in my memory?
Have you ever played Platinum?
No.
That's kind of interesting in the sense that, like, I know a lot of people think Platinum is a big improvement from Diamond and Pearl. So it could even be interesting to play Platinum at some point, not like immediately after, but at some point after, to see if that's true.
True, yeah, that's true. Although I don't think I would play both. I don't think I'm interested enough to put that much time into that gen of Pokemon.
It might be worth just playing Platinum then, because I know
Yeah.
people consider that a major improvement.
Yeah, since you're saying that, that would probably be my go-to at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also aiming to play NES Ninja Gaiden again at some point, which I find funny in hindsight because a couple years ago that used to be a game that I said I would never touch, and at this point I would actually play the second time willingly. That is some gamer growth in my book.
I agree. I mean, it's good to broaden horizons, you know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
You know, are there any other games?
I have a whole bunch still, especially from childhood. There's a bunch of games that I only played at friends' houses or like only had for a week as a kid, and I just wanna have the full experience again one more time as an adult and whatnot. I have a whole list of these kinds of things.
Honestly, like, I feel like my number of game replays has, outside of like the comfort games, has gone down significantly since I got my Switch in 2020, because there was just a long period where I couldn't play new games, basically. So I've had
Right,
so
yeah.
many games I haven't touched to kind of go through. But I feel like maybe the past year or so I've been replaying slightly more games than usual as well. Like I said, I was like replaying NASCAR Thunder 2003. At some point, I'll
Yeah.
probably get back to that. Although I was doing NASCAR Thunder 2004 after a point for like a slightly different experience that was still quite good.
A slightly different oval to race through. Sorry.
Hey, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, probably true. All right.
Before we move on, there's one thing I want to ask. Probably
Yeah.
mostly Matt, since Leah doesn't replay a lot. How often
Sure.
would you say you replay things because like a friend started playing them, or like you're playing it with someone else or something?
I don't have friends that play, so
I actually probably not much, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really
Alright.
have too many friends that play video games. And if they do, it's mostly like different tastes. So they play something completely different. I don't think that
That's
actually
fair.
happens much. It's more likely that it's like a co-op game that I replay with somebody else who maybe hasn't played it ever before. I remember replaying Portal 2 with my main co-op buddy, I think 2 years ago or whatever. Like that sort of
Makes
stuff
sense.
happens every couple of years. But I don't think I get drawn into replaying something in parallel to somebody else much.
I think it kind of happens with me as an amount, and I seek out my friends to do it sometimes, so it came to mind as something worth asking about.
Yeah, definitely do see how that can be very fun to have that experience at the same time. But again, yeah, it's mostly people that I talk to don't care about the same games I do in most cases. So it doesn't happen.
Right.
But we do have, we have Game of the Month for in on the forums, which is like kind of that,
oh
which I
yeah.
enjoy for that
Yes.
reason. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, definitely there's been times where I tried to or did replay a game because it was Game of the Month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I think that was the last time I played Portal, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we move on then?
Let's go to guess the game. But the aim of the game is to guess the game.
Roy, you have the spotlight.
That's right.
Exactly.
Guess the game.
It's all yours.
Aim of the game is to guess the game, and you guess the game, and that's the aim. Let's go.
Fuck.
Pretty sure everybody knows the rules, but you never know. This episode is always someone's first. So the rules are,
Yeah.
I've secretly selected a game from the contestants list of completed games. I have found a game you've both been, as difficult as that may be.
No way. No fucking way.
I know. I know. They said it couldn't be done, but somehow I persevered. Normally, if it's not on somebody's list, they get an extra point. Won't matter today. I'm going to leave completion comments and times to give clues to what the game is. I'm going to start with a main story comment and time. A main story plus comment and time will come after if it's still a guess. And then finally a 100% comment and time. And if nobody's got it, then nobody wins. Everybody goes home sad and dejected, and they have to go get a burger and drink to feel better about themselves. So,
Oh my
everybody
God.
ready?
Yup.
Yeah.
All right. So the main game is by Rasunico. It is 5 hours, 0 minutes. And it says in all lowercase, no punctuation. I used to speedrun any percent, but decided a couple of days ago to play the whole story for the first time many years after.
Play the whole story for the first time.
Wait, who's completed this? Between us,
You've both beaten it. You've both completed.
both beaten it. Okay.
So this is a seasoned player. That 5 hours is probably a low, like a below average. And again, since Leah and I both have played it, I think it's most likely some Nintendo game. But what have we both played?
Yeah.
That has not been picked yet. That is the main challenge here.
I mean, there weren't a lot. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I believe you. I think we had Yoshi's Island before.
We did discuss if I could do the same one, and it seemed like it was possible.
That is true.
That's true.
I wouldn't put it past you to pick one that we already had before.
Ah.
Yeah, for lack of for a better one, I'm gonna say Yoshi's Island.
Alright.
I think it could fit.
I am going to say Stanley's Parable.
Neither of those are correct.
God. Okay, thank God.
So, next is Main Plus by Amara _. It is 8 hours, 11 minutes. Played with a widescreen hack. It was a mistake. Did every extra level except the last two special thanks ones.
Why was it a mistake? Wow, that is a mysterious note. And special thanks levels?
Yes.
What? The fuck? Why was it a mistake? What?
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 A wide screen.
Mod, yeah.
Battery is going to overtime about it being a mistake.
So this is a retro game.
Yeah, clearly, yeah. I'm telling you, it's Nintendo. For fucking sure.
Playing in alpha mode.
Thank you levels? Dog, what are you fucking talking about?
That feels so retro in itself. Like,
oh my God.
I'm sorry. This lollipop is gluten free. It's like, so glad.
No,
Like,
thank goodness.
Gluten free.
I hate it when my lollipop has gluten in it.
What is this, psychological warfare to throw me off?
Oh no, Matt's brain is gonna be stuck on gluten.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm gonna be thinking about Zool now, the lollipop game. But then I'm pretty sure Leah hasn't played that shit. What the fuck? I'm genuinely like curious what the fuck this game is gonna be. This is
That just seems baffled.
Yeah, no, that is a wild note. That's a good one.
I will say that if you don't get it here, the 100% will absolutely give it away.
Sonic Adventure 2.
Alright, Leah, what's yours?
Super Metroid. I don't know.
It is neither of those.
There's no thank you levels in Super Metroid, dog.
So, I'm actually going to give 2 notes for 100% because they're by the same user and go together.
Okay.
Both notes are by a little user called Tiamat911.
Oh, The mod himself.
The first one is 4 hours 30 minutes and says, found 95 out of 96 exits. Can't find the missing one. I'm still marking this as a 100% run anyway. And then the other one is 3 hours 10 minutes. Found all 96 exits. I've completed this game at least 20 to 25 times since it came out. I know all the exits from memory.
Super Mario World. It's Super Mario World.
Yeah.
100%. Oh my god. I said it first.
Well, Leah still has to guess something.
Yeah. Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
Puyo Tetris. No, it's Super Mario World.
Oh my god, I was so close with Yoshi's Island. I cannot believe this.
Yes, I was
So
laughing at the fact that you're like, it would be
Yeah.
Yoshi's Island, just slightly nudged to the
God
left.
damn.
We mentioned that so much during this episode too. That was great.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. And the special thanks levels are the Star World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, sure. That makes
Because
sense.
they have like a special thanks in them. I also want to say I almost picked one that was in German, which was Speedrun mit Dennis nach 3 Worlds über Star Wars Zone und geskippt.
I think they skipped the Star Zone. That's what I get. But
Yeah.
wow.
All right, you get a point though, Matt. You take the lead, actually.
That's wild.
So did I like Tiamat didn't find an exit, and then on a replay he did find the exit? Did I get that right?
That's what it seems like. I gotta assume the first one was probably like when he was younger, because he's replayed it 50 trillion times.
Yeah, okay. True.
It's either that or it's a fake Tiamat. Although I don't think you could use the same username.
Someone impersonating a mod on How Long to Beat? No way, dude.
Rude.
Not
That's
possible.
illegal.
Oh, it goes right to his thing, so it definitely is him. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
Tiamat will respond in the comments, letting us know.
I hope so. All right, that was a good one. So I got 1 point after all
You got
this.
one, but that's enough to take the lead.
Is it? Oh shit! Yeah,
We were
I'm the
tied.
first one with 10 points. Holy shit, that's exciting.
That's right.
I was 0 for so long. I want to remember everybody about
Yeah.
that. Now I'm the king,
Now
dog.
that Matt's up to the top, he's gonna make sure everybody knows.
This game rules. All right. I guess that is putting it at the end of this fun-filled episode. In the spirit of replays, I hope you re-listen to this episode once this is over immediately. Get the 100% New Game Plus completion. And yeah, let us know about your experiences with replays, especially ones that like changed your mindset about the game. I would love to hear. And keep chatting us up on the Discord or forum. We are always around pretty much. And thank you all for listening.
You can even give us your favorite replays of How Long to Beat episodes. Which episode have you listened to the most?
That would be, if anybody listened to an episode more than once, I would be very impressed and confused, but I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, goodbye everybody.
Bye.
Later days.